Hey guys, as always, welcome to Applebee's, the Bohemian Grove Daft Punk, and a really awesome homework assignment I think you are really going to enjoy should you rise to the occasion. That's a lot. Let's talk about all that. This is the part of the episode where I'm supposed to tell you what's going to happen. All I can say is this is going to be a mess, and you're going to leave with more questions than you have now, but I think you might learn something, and it might send you on a journey to learn even more. Buckle up, here we go. Hey, on Friday, I told y'all about TACPACK, how they're about to have a monster box for the month of March. Now, the contents are still a secret, but we do know that it's going to be some sweet parts or EDC gear or survival stuff. Now, to get in on the box, you've got to order while it's still February. I'm going to have a link down below as well as a coupon code so you can get a free grab bag. It's down there. Check it out. But again, you got to do it while it's still February. Have fun. To each of y'all, thank you for every thumbs up. I like that I can be honest with y'all. And again, we're going to have a lot of questions at the end of this. I've been thinking, and kind of today what really got me stirred up a little bit is Daft Punk. It's a band. A lot of y'all may have heard of them. Some of you haven't. But it's a band that's been around for years and years and years. And some of the people are already typing, actually, it's not a band. They're an electro tech pop something. It's two guys wearing masks, and they've got music that's on the radio and stuff, but they ended today. And at the very end of their video, they announced it to the world today. And as of this recording, I'm recording this kind of late afternoon on Monday, but at the end of the announcement, it's already been seen by like 3 or 4 million people have seen this. This is the image that they showed. Now, here on this platform, I try to be really, really careful with certain words, but this has been in every Super Bowl for like 30 years or something. It's somewhere in there with the performers. And these performers now, Daft Punk, have released that as well. And it got me thinking a little bit today. I scrapped the video that I was going to do and want to pose some questions and again, some homework here in a minute. Now, on this platform, I have to be careful. Over on Patreon, I can talk a little more freely, just a little bit, nothing crazy. I don't go like way off the rails, well, a little bit off the rails, but I think it's interesting and it has implications for us right now, what this European band did, because the question is, who is in charge? Now, a couple weeks ago, I asked the question of who's in charge of the DNC and who's in charge of the child sniffer and all the stuff that's going on in Washington right now. Let's go a little bit bigger and ask the question, who's in charge of all of it? And I'm sitting here today going, whew, something is afoot. Now, just the other day, it was this month, YouTube had this, and I'll put it up right here, an interesting pic. And at first glance, okay, that's a nice little pic celebrating what people celebrate in the month of February. But then you look and every single person is like this. And if you didn't know, that is a very clear dog whistle towards this right here. If you can't tell, I'm being careful with the words so I don't get popped out of the algorithm. And only 7 people end up seeing this, including my mom. So this right here is absolutely what this is. And if you can chase that if you want to, like if you want to jump on the DuckDuckGo or jump on the Google, have yourself a good time, but all of that stuff is there. Now, I am always in wrestling of a couple things. There's a lot of areas where I wrestle, but in this arena, I always wrestle 2 things, what I see and what I sense. It's what we see and what we know. Things we see on the news, things how we see about our earth, the things we know about, our culture. But then there's all the stuff that I kind of sense, the seeing, the actually visual on this side. But over here, things are a little bit fishy. It makes me do this with my hand. Things are out there. And I think this is one of those things. And this isn't about Daft Punk. It's actually part of a secret organization. That's not what this video is about, not remotely. Now, we know that people are led. Since the dawn of time, people have been led. Somewhere today, there is a kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade teacher telling her class that carrots make you see really, really good. That is propaganda left over from anyone, World War II. And that propaganda, it stuck. Like that one, that carrots make your eyes work really good in the dark, that stuck. And it's been around ever since, the better part of 100 years. When you go back and watch old World War II movies and films, it is all propaganda. And the older I get, the more I'm able to see propaganda. And that's really, really easy to look back at old Cary Grant movies or whatever and seeing a little bit of propaganda. But for me, it was really disappointing about 6 or 8, 10 years ago when I found out that all of those God Bless Americas at ball games and the waving of, when they do the flyovers by the military, all of that is paid propaganda. The NFL doesn't do that out of the goodness of their heart. Many, many, many times I've sat and stood in the 7th inning and cheered for a veteran, gladly cheered for a veteran at the Cincinnati Reds games when they always have one veteran stand up and they tip their hat at the crowd. It's cool. It's really, really cool, especially when it's an old timer. But then you find out that actual event is a paid advertisement. It is propaganda. It's been around forever. There's a thing called how do you say it? It's called the JIAYU pass. And I heard this story years ago. I'll put a link to the Wikipedia page. It's the far, far part of the Great Wall of China. And I heard the story as a young person, and I believed it. When the makers, it's part of the Great Wall, but it's a little fortress that they built called the JIAYU Pass. And the guy that built it, when he ordered the bricks, he ordered 999,999. And he ordered a specific number of bricks. And then the guy that was making the bricks, or the company, said nobody could be that precise. And so the builder ordered one extra brick. That was in the 14th century. That extra brick is still sitting there, and I'll put a picture up here for you. It's still sitting there on top of the wall to go, hey, we ordered an extra brick. We are that precise. And years ago, I heard somebody do an expose on it going, when you build those things out of smashed earth and you do 100,000 of them over the course of a couple months, people drop them and hundreds, if not thousands, get smashed, broken, deteriorated. It's propaganda. And I remember being crushed. I believed that when I was 13 and I heard that. I always remember that brick sitting there. No different today. The tail wags the dog. Now, here's your homework assignment. Because it's really easy to talk about propaganda in the 14th century, propaganda in the 1940s. Here, they really believe that carrots made your eyes see good in the dark. That's really easy. That's fun. All those morons way back when. What about us? What do we believe? It turns out only 6 media companies control absolutely everything that is verifiable. And over the last couple years, we have not just the news saying verbatim the same stories. We also have nightly talking points across all nightly comedy shows that will verbatim also talk about the same talking points that come from the DNC, also verifiable. But what about now? Here's your homework assignment. This one's going to be fun. I did it just today. Jump over to the DuckDuckGo or your search engine of choice and type in the words Capitol Police Investigation. And look at the results, but I want you to pay attention to the dates on that. Look at those dates. Look at those dates when the investigation popped up. And then I want you to do another search and look at the same publications and look at the dates, except type in on this one, Capitol Police Hero. And you will see a super easy example of nonsense propaganda filtering out to the water coolers, and it's what we talk about it. Now, what is my point in all that? One, it's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. It makes me think. But 2, and here's the big point, is we have bills right now like H.R. 152, complete nonsense. It won't make it out of committee. But we do know this. There's going to be more bills coming in the coming weeks and months. Probably by sometime this summer, we're going to have massive bills, like bad ones, that are going to be more passable and more palatable to the overall, Congress or the Senate, and it ain't going to be good. I want us all to be careful what we follow, and I want us all to know clearly that the tail wags the dog. I'm leaving with a lot of questions. I started with Daft Punk because there's more to the story. There's always more to the story. There's what we see, and then there's what we sense and what we know. When we look at the overall 30,000-foot picture, something is a little bit fishy. And speaking of those bills that are going to be coming up, to anyone that is against us or my right to own whatever I want, even to have a 30-round clip-a-zine from my cold, dead hands. Bye.